Hello students, today we are doing lesson 8.9, dividing polynomials. This is not going to be on your test, however it will be a bonus question on your test, and you will be learning more. You will do a lot more of this in Algebra 2 than in Algebra 1, but I do like to go over it. It's a little bit more difficult to understand. The super easy ones are not very hard to understand, but sometimes they get a little bit more difficult. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to be dividing polynomials. So before we start dividing polynomials, I'm going to just go over something that of how division works so that you can see it in action. Okay, so here's a super simple division problem. So when I do this, I say, how many times does 3 go into 8? Well, it goes in 2 times, right? And then we say 2 times 3 is 6, and we subtract. Then we bring down the next number. We say 3 goes into 22 7 times, and that's 21. I subtract, get a 1, bring down the next number. And 3 goes into 12 4 times, multiply 4 times 3, and I get 12. Subtract, and I have no more remainders, and I'm done. Okay, so I want to remind you of how we do division with just numbers, because now we're going to do divisions with variables, okay, polynomials. So I'm going to start example 1 right here because I want you to be able to still look at this example, because I'm going to be talking about that example as we do the problem. So the problem says divide x squared plus 4x minus 9 and divide that by x plus 2. So we're going to put it into the little division sign, what some people call the house. We're going to do that. Okay, and when you do that, the first number or the first part of the division goes inside the house. Okay, so we have x squared plus 4x. I don't know what y'all's parents or teachers taught you about what this is. I just had many students tell me that it was called a house, so that's what I started doing. Okay, and then this part goes on the outside, right? X plus 2. Okay, so we are going to start dividing. So how we did it here was we would say, how many times does 3 go into 8, right? Well, we're going to do the same thing, but we're only going to talk about this first number because that's the only one we're going to care about for right now. So I'm going to say, how many times does x go into x squared? Or you can ask yourself, what do I need to multiply by to get this number right here to equal x squared? So that's going to be x. So look at how this works. Now I'm going to multiply x times x is x squared, and x times 2 is 2x. So it's kind of like distributive property right there, right? So now I want to erase those arrows. And once I've done that, then I am going to, the same thing I did up here is I subtract it, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to subtract this whole thing, not just the x squares, but the whole thing. So when you do this, this first part should always end up being 0. Or in other words, these should just cancel each other out. X squared minus x squared. They're not really canceling each other out. They're subtracting. Then I have to do 4x minus, don't forget it's minus, the 2x. So this is going to be 2x, right? Okay, and then I bring down my next number, just like we did over here with these arrows, right? We brought down the next number, so that's minus 9. So now I do the same thing. I say, what number up here, I'm going to put a plus sign here because these are both positive. This and this are both positive, so I know it's going to be a positive. So I say, what number right here do I need to put there so that that number times the first one, we're only worried about the first one. This number times the first one is going to equal this first number, 2x. So what number is that going to be? It's going to be a 2. So when I do 2 times 2 times x, I get 2x. And when I do 2 times 2, I get 4. Okay? So I am almost finished here. I just need to do my subtraction. So remember, just like we subtracted everything here, we're going to subtract these two. The two x's should come out to 0 every time. And then I have minus 9 minus 4, which is negative 13. So your answer is x plus 2, remainder negative 13. Okay, so some of them do not have remainders. I like the ones that don't have remainders. And so, but a lot of them do on your homework. So I have to show you how to do the remainders. I think the one I have as your extra credit will not have a remainder. So if you end up with no remainder, then your answer is just x plus 2, right? But we did, so this was our answer. Okay, so let's go on to example 2. Remember, we have 4 examples in this. So let's try one more example together before I set you on your way. So I'm going to go ahead and instead of writing it all out 2 times, I'm just going to put it in the division sign first. So we have 2x to the 4th power minus x to the 3rd power plus 5x squared plus 9x minus 6. And on the outside, we're going to have x minus 1. Okay, so we're going to start with these first 2 terms. So I'm going to say, how many times does x go into 2x to the 4th? Or you can ask yourself, what I think kids think is easier is, what number do I have to have here that when I multiply, I get 2x to the 4th? So what number is that? It's going to be 2x to the 3rd. So see, when I multiply this times this, I get this. Okay, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to multiply and then get that number underneath the house, as some people call it. So that's going to give me 2x to the 4th. Then I'm going to multiply this. So that's going to give me minus 2x cubed. And hold on, let me erase this arrow. And now I need to subtract both of these. So this comes out to 0. And when I subtract, don't forget the subtraction needs to go to this part too. So I'm subtracting a negative number. So that really means that's going to be a plus 2x cubed. So that's going to be plus 1x cubed. So instead of writing all of that like that, I should just leave off the 0. So I'm erasing it and leave off this plus. So I have a 1x cubed, which is really just x cubed, right? Okay, now I'm going to bring down my next term. So I have plus 5x squared. Now I can do my division. So I say, how many times does x go into x cubed? Or what number do I need here that when I multiply, I get that x cubed? So what number do I need there? Think about it for a minute while I'm erasing all these arrows. And when I say number, that could be variable also. So I'm going to need a plus x squared, because when I multiply these two now, I get x cubed. But I also have to do distributive property. I have to multiply by the negative, so that's going to give me minus x squared. Okay, and now I need to subtract both of those. So I'm subtracting this whole thing, right? That's why that second one is always hard, because if it's a negative, because you forget to do that sometimes. So let me erase my arrows. Y'all are probably still writing anyway. This comes out to 0. Remember, we don't need to write that. So I have 5x squared minus negative x squared. That's going to give me 6x squared. And then I bring down the next term, 9x. So now I say, what number am I going to need to put up here to get 6x squared? And that would be a 6x. And when I multiply, I get 6x squared minus 6x. Okay, so I'm doing this. This is what I just did down below. And now I subtract. I'm going to get 15x. So I did 9x minus 6x. Okay, sometimes it's hard to do this when I don't have hands to point to things for you. Okay, so then I bring down my minus 6, and now I'm on my last part here. X goes into 15x only 15 times. So that's 15x minus 15. Subtract the whole thing, and that is going to give me a positive 9. So then up here I'm going to write remainder 9, and this is my answer to the problem. Okay? Okay, so now you're ready to try your own. So let me give you a problem. Okay, actually I'm going to start this one with you because it's a little bit different. Okay, the next one is going to be divide x cubed minus 8 divided by x minus 2. Okay, so on this one, it's a little bit different. We're going to go ahead and put the x minus 2 out here. But before I put in this one inside of here, I'm going to show you something. You always need to go down an exponent on each of your variables. So I have an x cubed, but I don't have an x squared. So if you notice in all of these, see how the exponents go 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I don't have an exponent, right? So you have to have all of those for this to work. Up here I had x squared, and then x to the 1, and then no x's, right? So I always have to go down in x's. So this one just goes from x cubed straight to 8. We can't do division like that. So what I need to do is add in an x squared and an x. And to do that, I don't have any x squares, so I want to say I have 0 x squares. And I have 0 x's. And then I have 8. Okay, so now I can do the division. So once you've done that, I just added in zeros. Now you can try this one on your own. So go ahead and hit pause and try it on your own, and then we'll come back and do it together. Okay, so when I come back to do this one, I'm going to say, what do I multiply by x to get x cubed? So what do I multiply by? X squared. So x squared times x is x cubed, and x squared times minus 2 is a minus 2x squared. See how I had to do this so that I have something to put the x squared under? If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to subtract the negative 2x from like the 8. So I didn't want the 8 right there. Oops. Some people just leave a bunch of blanks and put that minus 8 way at the end. Okay, and then I'm going to minus, so these get 0, and this is going to be a positive 2x squared, because minus a negative is a positive. And then I'm going to bring down the 0x. So now I say what goes here, and that is going to be a, hold on, let me erase these arrows right here. That is going to be a 2x, because when I multiply 2x times x, that gives me 2x squared. And then I do the next one, which is minus 4x. And now I can subtract, and this becomes 0. If you have any number underneath this first part, it means you did not do it right. So go back and fix it. So this is going to be 4x when I subtract. I bring down the minus 8. Okay? And my last part that I'm going to do is x goes into 4x 4 times. So I put plus 4. It's going to give me 4x minus 8. And I need to minus both of these. Well, this one came out with no remainder. Everything worked out right. And so this is my answer. X squared plus 2x plus 4. Okay, so last one. This one is a bit of a doozy also. So I'd like you to just try to attempt it, right? I'm not going to assign any this hard on your homework. Actually, let's not do the example 4 in the book, because it's a lot harder. If you want to attempt it, you say, hey, I really want to see what she's talking about. You can go to page 356 and try the example 4 on that page. But instead, I'm going to give you a different one for example 4. So let's do x squared plus 8x plus 15 divided by x plus 2. Okay, this one's a pretty simple one, so I want you to try this one on your own. So go ahead and hit pause and try it on your own. Okay, so now that you're back, you should have written your your division problem like this. You didn't have to put in any zeros, and now I'm going to divide. So I say, what do I have to multiply by to make it look like x squared? And it's going to be an x. So x times x is x squared, and x times 2 is 2x. Subtract everything, and you get 6x. Bring down the 15. And now I say, what times x is going to give me 6x? And that would be 6. So 6 times 6x is 6x. 6 times x is 6x, and 6 times 2 is 12. This is what I just did. I'm going to subtract, and I get 3. So my answer is x plus 6, remainder 3. Okay? Okay, so you're only going to have 3 examples. Yeah, 3 examples is all I'm going to give you, or 3 problems is all I'm going to give you for homework for this one. So hopefully you get all 3 of those correct, and that you'll be able to get the bonus question on your test. Okay, that's it for today.